Hello, everyone. Today we have Anika Wilson on the Magnetically Aligned Woman. Now, Anika is a business architect. She develops, promotes, and consulted her way through the business world, advancing the knowledge base of business development freedom. Now she integrates her education, experience, and passion for life, business, God, and people in every project that she creates. Currently, she runs a series called Inflate. Uh, would you elaborate on that? Is it inflation?
ImfluaXion.
InfluaXion. Uh, And previously, this was titled Women of Impact Conference Series, which tours the nation educating women on professional and personal development. Her podcast, Your Voice, Your Power with Anika, shares the voices of truth of entrepreneurs around the world that have committed to turning their lives to live purposefully amidst adversity. Influent Infinite Women's Network is her latest initiative, an online international network for women to gain support, education, and resources to overcome barriers to success personally or professionally. Now, her vision is to help others heal, deal, and grow, and reunite in daily pursuits. I'm so excited to have you, Anika. Welcome, and I'd love to know just a little bit more about your personal journey to where you are today.
Well, thank you for having me. My personal journey is long, extensive, but rewarding. It's interesting. I worked in social services for 20 years. My first job was a correction officer when I finished my criminal justice bachelor's degree. And then after working in social services for 20 years, I just hated the fact that there was limitations placed on the services provided to people in need. So when I decided to just go out and create my own business, I knew that I wanted to help people without limits. And that's what I strive to do every day. I struggle with what I want to help people with because I have a vast array of knowledge and experience from, I say personal and professional development because I've been a crisis counselor, I've been a correction officer, I've been a child welfare investigator, long-term care coordinator, and now I'm getting my PhD in developmental psychology. So I know how to help people live life to the best of their abilities despite what they go through.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I remember we had a discussion about this where for me personally too, it's very hard to focus on one thing. And I know you're a huge advocate of doing what you love to do regardless, and there's no limitations on stopping you, even if there's an array of things that you'd love to do. And I'd like to ask for you, what does alignment mean?
Ooh, I tell everybody alignment is, something that you do with your tires. You have front tire, right tire, two back tires. At the end of the day, if they're not all together, working together, you're going to have a bumpy ride. And so most of us, especially women, we live our lives incongruent. We're constantly doing what we're told we're supposed to be doing. We're filling voids. We are living roles instead of doing what we want to do. Alignment means that you are doing what you want, what you are gifted to do, what you want to do, what you have a passion for, and what you strive. Like you wake up and it's like, I'm not even working, I'm just doing it. That's alignment. Alignment is being who you were designed to be every day on purpose, just because you can.
I love that. And it's so true. Whenever we wake up, like as women, there's so many roles. And as I've learned over time, society has conditioned us to believe that there's only one way to live or a very specific way to live.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not true for everybody. That's why certain programs and certain strategies, it doesn't work. It just doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know like for you, you help women through this journey. And even in your previous career, you've helped people through difficult times in their life. Can you share a little bit more about like the specifics of what you did or how you helped?
Well, I am literally that person that people pick up the phone and call, whether it's needing housing, whether it's trying to find a job, whether it's trying to put a resume together, going back to school. relationship issues, domestic violence. I'm certified in domestic violence. I'm certified in Social Security disability. I specialize right now. My dissertation is on basically the responsibility of healthcare systems, whether it be mental or physical care, in coordinating services and providing quality healthcare to all of us. You know, my master's thesis is on childhood trauma. I've lived a life of trauma. I've lived a life of chaos. I've lived a life of adversity. And I used to be that person that felt, woe is me, like, why me? You know, I have chronic illness. There are days I can't walk. I have a cane, I have a walker. There are good days, there are bad days. Like, I cannot wait to go buy these 2 new pair of Nikes. And I struggle because, you know, I feel like I'm supposed to be, you know, this prissy woman, you know, who wears, you know, heels and all these things. But I had a back injury at a young age and I'm not able to do those things. And I just told my husband, like, I'm gonna wear Nikes and sweats and jeans and whatever, because my life consists of physical therapy. My life consists of making sure that my knees and my back are taken care of before my brand, you know, says that I'm this prissy woman with makeup on, because that's what other coaches do. You know, I help people be who they are meant to be without apology. I help people give themselves permission to feel. I help people give themselves permission to heal, to deal, and to grow. I help people get rid of the people and the places and the things that are not helping them get to where they're trying to go. I help people understand that that vision, that dream, that thing that they think that they can't attain or achieve, like buying a house or getting their credit put back together or starting a business, building a website. I help people do those things because I know how to do them. And I have spent 20 years of my life making excuses for why I haven't achieved my goals, you know, based on what's happened to me, versus using my skills that are innate and learned to put them together with my resilience and just blaze a trail and just leave people in the dust and say, you know what? I'm not apologizing for being great. I'm not apologizing for being creative. I'm not apologizing for being all over the place. This is who I am. This is how God created me. And I'm gonna do me. I help people do all of that.
Amazing. And you mentioned resilience a lot. What does resilience mean?
Well, it's funny you say that because I thought we were all born resilient. And in a lot of ways we are. But what I haven't understood is that people have different life skills. And, you know, I've created a life skills management system in my leadership academy. And I created it because I realized that everybody doesn't have the pieces to the puzzle, that people aren't not successful because they want to be. People are missing key factors that will help them get to where they're trying to go. You know, if people weren't raised in an environment or a family where struggle was normal, then when they have struggle, they don't respond the same as everybody else. They don't overcome it as, you know, everybody else would. Some people, you know, we talk about privilege and things like that. It's not to downplay or minimize or criticize. It's literally to raise awareness on, hey, we're not all created equal because we are not placed in the same environment. So therefore, some people are exposed to things that other people aren't, which is a benefit to some. And so in order for us to really, really understand what resilience is, we have to first raise awareness. We have to know who we are. We have to know what our strengths are. We have to know what our needs are. We have to know who can help us with our weaknesses, who can help us, or where we can maximize our strengths, or where we can be that mentor or, you know, provider to somebody else who needs what we have. So, you know, resilience is basically that grit, just having that grit. And if you're not born with it, then you can learn it. You can build those skills. It's a skill, it's a life skill, and it helps you get to where you're trying to go.
Now, for somebody who's, you know, for somebody who's not used to experiencing this, and they don't have the certain resilience in that particular area of their life, how do they gain this awareness, or like, what are some steps they can take to support them?
Well, first off, it starts with mindset. And so the first step is to take time to learn yourself. And, you know, people say that in so many different ways. People may tell you, go meditate. or self-care, it all means the same thing. It means take time, take a time out, sit down by yourself, with yourself. No radio, no phone, no Facebook, no nothing. Just sit there and figure out like what you think. And you may say about what? Anything. Like, how do you think? What is your go-tos? Like, what are your coping skills, which I don't know other ways to say coping skills. Like, how do you deal with problems? How do you deal with people? How do you deal with challenges? How do you deal with your family? How do you deal with boundaries? How do you deal with budgeting? How do you deal with like your eating and, you know, your diet, your healthcare systems? Like, learn your systems and processes for you as an individual, as a person, but then also look at it and how you apply those same things professionally, you know, into where you're going. If you're an entrepreneur, like, what strengths do you have that are helping you build your business? What strengths do you have that help you at work? What strengths do you have that help you in relationships? Like, literally take the time to deconstruct who you are. And that way you can determine what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are. And if that's a challenge for you, then find somebody else. Get a coach, get a therapist, get an accountability partner, ask your friends, ask your spouse, you know, what am I good at? I literally did this with my husband yesterday. We sat across from each other and I asked him, what do I help people do? Because I know what I say I help people do. Like, in his mind, he's like, you're a women empowerment coach. I'm like, but I don't only work with women. And so I'm like, I help people be better. I help people perform better. Like, literally sit down and deconstruct who you are. And from that, you can determine who you need, because some people can do this on their own. Some people need help. Some people have to have a sounding board. They have to have a therapist. They have to have a coach. Some people have to have a village. And I help people create villages, because we're not designed to do these things alone. We're not designed to live life alone. We're not designed to navigate our businesses alone. We're not designed to be in relationships alone. You obviously have a partner. And so, you know, in the steps, like, first you have to start with self, because you can't just go out and reach out for something. You got to figure out what you need. And then once you figure out what you need, then you can figure out who can help you with each other part.
Oh, I love that. There are so many times in my life where I've just like kept to myself. I was scared to ask other people for support, and I always felt like, is there something wrong with me if this comes easily to other people and it doesn't come easily to me? And it was this constant like questioning, like, oh my God, why does this work for other people and it's not working for me? And now I'm realizing, you know, everybody is different. Like you said, everybody has their own unique design. And when we are going against our design, that's when we experience frustration and anxiety and stress about the future and just like worry constantly all the time. And when you're worried about stuff all the time, things around us seem to be like falling apart. It's like, oh my God, this whole world is going to end.
Because you're not in alignment. And exactly what you're talking about is not alignment. But what I want to say is that you're like 80% of people. People, we retreat first, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Time out can be retreating. You know, you need to take a step back and just say, hey, wait a minute. Like, okay, do I need to ask for help? Okay. And then you got to build the courage to ask for help. It's not easy, but 80% of people isolate. It's a normal process. What I tell everybody is that depression is normal, anxiety is normal, retreating is normal, isolation is normal. What's not normal is doing it in excess. So allow yourself to take a step back. Allow yourself to isolate. Allow yourself to retreat. Allow yourself to be depressed when something bad happens. Allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself to process. You talk about things being chaotic or hard. A lot of times when you're shifting, when you are growing, when something is changing in your life, when you're like, okay, I need to do this, but it's hard to jump. Like, I know I need to, but wait a minute. But it's hard because it's a shift. And so they're called growing pains. And so you've got to give yourself permission to feel those things. It is hard, but guess what? Change is hard, but it's worth it. And the sooner that you do things, you know, I say, allow yourself to be depressed, allow yourself to be anxious, allow yourself to feel, just don't stay there. Make sure it's a temporary state. Do not cut yourself off from having these feelings. You got to allow yourself to do these things, but just limit the time that it takes you to do these things. That's where the problem lies. People talk about, oh, I'm depressed and I'm in a funk. It's normal to be in a funk. Because if you're not in a funk, then you're just always high. You're always, whoa, life is good, 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 good. I'm worried about you. You're lying. Something's not right.
Right.
No, I mean, life is a wave, and so you've got to ride the wave. But just make sure that you have balance, that you allow yourself time to do each element of it so that then you can be congruent. You don't want to do a little too much here, a little too much there, all over. Just, you got to find balance. And when you're aligned and you figure all these pieces out, then you can put the puzzle together and then you're balanced. So it's just little pieces here and there, and then you put it all together and then you're good.
Thank you for sharing. And we did mention like adversity. What exactly is adversity, and how do we step up in our power as women and take control of that?
Adversity for me is normal. So everybody, like, that word scares people. For me, it could be trauma, it can be challenge, it can be crisis, it can be change, it can be any of those things. But adversity is also subjective. So to some people, something may be adverse, and to somebody else, it may not. Just like trauma. Trauma, something moving could be traumatic to somebody and not to somebody else. Change could be traumatic to somebody and not somebody else. So, when we talk about adversity, there's a lot of cultural factors. There are a lot of genetic factors. There are a lot of gender factors. Women tend to respond better to adversity because we go through birth, we go through, marriage, we go through name changes, we go through things that men don't have to go through. We go through biological shifts, changes, hormonal changes, our bodies change, there's all these things that we have to naturally experience. Mm-hmm. And so for us, we tend to kind of put pressure on ourselves to like adjust to things better. And we put these ridiculous expectations on ourselves that, that when adversity comes, we're just supposed to roll with it, not feel, not allow ourselves to like respond to it. And that's not true. What we have to do is recognize adversity for what it is. And when we use adversity as a strength and not a weakness, and when we use adversity as a lesson to prepare us for bigger challenges to come, that's resilience. And so whether you have it, need it, whatever it is, it's attainable.
Wow. That just opened up a new perspective.
You hear everybody say, use your pain for power. It's just terminology. And for me, I've had so much pain that the minute that I decided that I was going to use it for power, and people are like, oh, you just talk about your trauma and your crap. You just talk about it. What else am I going to do with it? Bury it and act like it didn't happen? If I don't learn from it, it will repeat itself. Life has a funny way of doing that because adversity is a lesson. And if you ignore it, it's going to keep slapping you in your face like Groundhog Day. It's just going to be the same day over again. It's going to be the same challenges with different faces, with different people, with different names. It's one job. You get this job and it's like, oh my gosh, every time I get a job, it's the same crap. Every time I get in a relationship, it's the same crap. Guess what's not changing? You're not changing your perspective. You're not changing your outlook. You're not changing, you're not learning from it. You're doing the same thing, expecting a different result, which is insanity. And so, whether it be adversity, whether it be resilience, whether it be, whatever it is, life is designed to evolve. And if you're not rolling with it, you're not evolving, you're not learning from your mistakes, you're not growing, you're stagnant, and you're going to fall behind and you're going to stay behind, and everybody else is just going to spin around you.
I love that. I remember as we were speaking, there's this fear about facing the ugliness, like the downfalls and like the things that we feel shame and hurt about. But that's actually the beautiful part about growing, is when you learn to accept those those areas of your life, and you actually notice. It's actually a very beautiful process, because then you learn how to make better choices to actually change your life. And and
But
we,
you know, gratitude is the only way to really grow. If you don't appreciate the flaws, then you're just building this ego that just you will crash and burn eventually. You have to appreciate the process, because the ugly part, I tell everybody, childbirth is ugly. I mean, your body grows and stretches and you get stretch marks and the pain and all these things, and then you have this beautiful baby, and it grows into this person and it gets this personality and it talks back to you and all these things and it acts just like you. And it's all these things, but it's a process. And even a rainbow, you got to go through the rain and all that. Of course, I'm in Hawaii where we have rainbows all day every day, and it makes me think about the fact that I complain about the spray of rain, because it doesn't even rain. It's just a spray that hits you in your face all day long. But then you have this rainbow that goes across the whole sky, the whole island. And it's just like, oh, wow. And it has all these different colors. And no one rainbow or two rainbows are alike. Every single one is different, just like life, just like adversity, just like challenges.
now for you, what does abundance mean?
Abundance to me means infinite possibilities.
And that's it. Infinite.
That's it. I was going to say more, but why? It's limitless. And like my logo is the infinity symbol. I have a tattoo of infinity, because when you're limitless, I mean, that just means that you can wake up and you can do what you want, especially as an entrepreneur. You can change your mind as much as you want. You can meet anybody that you want, have a conversation. You can work with people just because you can. You can be a part of different organizations, network systems. I mean, you can it's just limitless. You can just live instead of existing. Like I spent most of my life existing, and then I woke up one day and I was like, I want to live. And that's the difference. When you live an abundant life, it has nothing to do with money. It just has to do with possibilities.
At what point did that shift for you? Like when you woke up and you realized, oh, I was just living. Now I actually want to live with purpose, with joy.
I would say last year. Last year, it was my word of the year, abundance. And it was the theme of my conference. I spoke about it. And as I was speaking about it, the more I talked about it, the more I realized. I was like, I am blessed. I've always looked at my life and my adversity as negative, but my experiences have caused me to grow and mature into a person that is so much stronger than a lot of other people. And people have all my life told me, you're so resilient, you're so strong, you're so smart, you're so wise. I'm looking at them like, whatever. I was surviving. And I was, and now I realize that in survival and in surviving, that I have things that other people don't have. And it's from experiences, it's from hunger, it's from grit, it's from determination, it's just from being curious and driven and just wanting more. And in doing that, I just, it was like a light bulb, like, you're there. It's like I'm striving to be somewhere that I've been already. And I've been just ignoring the fact that I'm living it. And so sometimes I tell everybody, you're chasing success and you never realize that you're successful.
Oh, I love that. It is a mindset shift, because that's a common theme in a lot of people that I speak to, and for myself as well. And I see this a lot in highly driven individuals. We're so used to striving for the next thing, because we believe, I'll only be happy when I reach the next level. And when you reach the next level, it's not good enough. There's always the next level. There's always the next level. So at what point in your life do you allow yourself to feel happy with where you are and what you're doing, and allowing yourself to celebrate? And that was me too. I was like, I never celebrated anything. I was like, oh, when people say, oh my God, that's a huge accomplishment, like I would have never done that, I'm like, oh, it's nothing, just pass it off.
Yep.
And it's a common theme in a lot of people. Now, for our topic, which was like allowing yourself to succeed, like giving yourself permission. What does that mean for you? And then how does that translate to the people you interact with, the women that you empower?
First of all, I think you have to dial back. I tell everybody, step back so you can step forward. And you got to dial back, because when we talk about success, like I just said, we got to look at our accomplishments. We tend to be hungry and driven and motivated, but we also are influenced by our environment. And so it's extremely important for us to set goals. A lot of times we set out to do something and we just start doing it, and we don't realize that we've accomplished it because we didn't set an outline. We didn't set a framework. And so if we can step back and set goals, and say, okay, I'm doing this because I want to get here, or I want to do this. And so we have to kind of break them up into baby steps so that we can celebrate each milestone. Like you said, we don't set like one big goal, we set 18,000 small goals. And so therefore, every time we're achieving one, we're just like, okay, next, okay, to this, okay, to that. No, we need to set one big goal and then break it up into milestones and celebrate every single win. Because for me, it took me 10 years to get my master's degree. In June, I got it. And then I was like, okay, what do I do now? Oh, I get a PhD. And I immediately got into my PhD program. And so listening to you, it didn't help. COVID did not help because I didn't have a graduation. I didn't have time to wallow in the experience. 3 years ago, I got married. And it was just like, by the way, we had to do it because we're military. And it was just like, find a day that we can get married and then move on. Like, and now I'm saying, hey, can I have a wedding? Like, hello, because it's like, as long as we keep just doing stuff, it's like, we're just not even allowing ourselves to like really, really wallow in the win, in the achievement. And in doing that, we feel unaccomplished. And so we have to take time to celebrate the win, because if we don't, we're minimizing our self-worth. We're minimizing who we really are. We're minimizing our abilities. And that just diminishes your confidence. And so we have to literally slow down and take time to really, really evaluate where we're going, where we've been, and who we really are.
Beautiful. And as we're coming to an end today, I know you have something special for the audience that you want to share. Would you be able to share that with us?
Absolutely. So I just launched a virtual summit, and it is all about building success in 2021. It's taken everything that we've used in 2020 and integrating it into where we're going in 2021. So I offer everyone an invitation to join the virtual summit, which is evergreen, in my academy. And you can get that at mbg.infinitewomensnetwork.com.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing that. And for everybody listening, I'll link the website below so that you have access. And I'd love to hear some last words from you, any words of wisdom or your favorite quote that you can share with us.
My favorite quote is, have faith, everything is all right. And my words of wisdom is, as we step into a new year, there's no need to be a new you. Just be the best you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Anika, for being here and sharing with us your story and amazing, everything that you've shared with us today. It has been.
Thank you so much for having me.